Theramore Isle, also known as Theramore Keep, Theramore City, or simply Theramore, is a human port town located on a rocky island on the eastern fringe of Dustwallow Marsh. Prior to the Night Elf induction into the Alliance, Theramore was considered the Alliance's greatest martial presence in Kalimdor. During the Third War, as Dalaran's destruction became imminent, the High Mage Jaina Proudmoore took as many survivors of Lord Iran she could find to sail west to the forgotten shores of this strange new land. Initially, they were met with outright hostility from the native Night Elves, as well as the Horde, who had recently made landfall in these parts. But eventually, leaders of these three factions came together in the face of a greater threat than any of them could take on their own, the Burning Legion. The war to repel the demonic invasion has its own extensive history, but it is sufficient to say that the demons were driven back. In the aftermath, all surviving humans, dwarves, and high elves of Jaina's expedition settled along the coast of Dustwallow Marsh. Here, they erected the island citadel of Theramore to safeguard the ragtag remnants of the Lord Iran Alliance. But between the survivors in Theramore and orcs present in Durotar, a tension rose. Grand Admiral Dalen Proudmoore, Jaina's father, and the Alliance fleet commander held the city for a time. Still clinging to old hatreds, the elder Proudmoore started a brief but bloody war against the Horde. Aided by the far-off island nation of Kultiras, of which he was the de facto ruler, Proudmoore's army besieged the new Orcish homeland, attempting to rid the land of the Horde before it could take root. And while they managed to score several initial victories, making a landing along the shoreline, the Kultiran forces were subject to endless harassment by champions of the Horde. They were unhinged from the province of Tirgard, where supply lines evaporated into a fine mist, and the bulk of the army along with them. The fleet was swiftly recalled back to Theramore, where the Grand Admiral found his fortress now encircled in turn. The Horde had smashed through the blockade, ready to vengefully tear into the last vestige of Lordaeron. It was Jaina Proudmoore, ever the pragmatist, who attempted to facilitate a peace between the Alliance and Horde. But it was Dalen who refused. The ensuing skirmish towards his command post was rapid and merciless, and the war was ultimately ended by Dalen Proudmoore's demise. Today, Theramore Isle is still the home of Jaina Proudmoore, and she remains in command of the Alliance expedition. Despite Jaina's efforts, some within Theramore continue to harbor ill intent upon the orcs. Even years after the conflict with Durotar, many within Theramore's ranks claim loyalty to Dalen Proudmoore's cause, or wish to settle scores from the old world and continent they left behind. However, the vast majority of Theramore's inhabitants are deeply loyal to the younger Proudmoore, and they wish to uphold the armistice with the Horde in the region. These are the refugees who crossed oceans to flee the plague of undeath, Magi who watched as their kingdoms disappeared overnight, or ancient heritage destroyed. They are veterans who fought against the Burning Legion at Mount Hyjal, standing side by side with the orcs against an apocalypse. And they would do so again, should the world need them. Theramore is no longer an island. A bridge has been built, connecting worlds old and new. Each who crosses over makes a choice. They can bring what they choose, but they must leave the rest behind. The tide rolls and batters, but Theramore will not sink below. The sea wall is a threshold, a high watermark of camaraderie, refusing to be anchored by the past. Yet the sea remains tumultuous. Ships churn in the roil, turning exiles into founders, enemies into allies, and even family into foe.